Hi, my name is Julissa Plasencia, and I'll be presenting my intervention with you guys. So the title is Will Using Textual Prompts Help Increase Manding in Children with ASD? Our proposed research question was, will using textual prompts help increase manding? And our participant was a 3-year-old little girl who's diagnosed with autism. This little girl is a verbal child, just does not use her words to communicate. Most of her words consist of tacting objects, pictures, or people. This intervention took place Monday through Friday in her family's home during her scheduled ABA sessions. The type of graphing design I did was an AB graphing design. I know this is not a functional relation design, but I wasn't able to do one of those type of designs due to the time we had. I didn't just have enough time to do it, but if I would have had more time, I would have liked to done a multiple baseline design across behaviors because she is tantruming when she's not able to express her wants and needs because she just doesn't have that skill to verbally say her wants and needs. At the time of planning this intervention, we were seeing a lot of maladaptive behavior such as tantrums, flopping, screaming, throwing, and it would have been interesting to run this intervention and seeing if her behaviors would decrease and her manding would increase. But due to sake of time, I wasn't able to do that, so I did an AB graphing design. The independent variable was the textual prompts, and the dependent variable was increasing manding. So the textual prompts we used were the words more and help, and they were just typed out words, laminated with Velcros attached to them, and we placed them on her working table where she worked during interventions. We only ran this intervention when natural occurring opportunities arise, and we try to do 5 to 10 trials during her session. And natural occurring opportunities, for example, looked like maybe her playing with the shape sorter and she's struggling to put a shape in the shape sorter. So prompting, pointing to the help and verbally saying more, and vice versa for for more. So for example, more like she finished her juice or cookies and she wanted more, pointing to more, prompting more, and we would go down the prompting hierarchy or like most to least prompting for the verbal prompting. So we'd go to full verbal, to partial verbal, to eventually independent. So during session, they would run this during her session, point to the desired word. The only time we counted it as a correct response is if she vocalized the word. But if she didn't vocalize the word, we did not accept that response, but we did honor her man. So she just didn't get high praise for using her words, but we would still honor her man because she's still communicating with us, because she would point to the words as we pointed as well. So she was still communicating, just not verbally. So the data sheet the BTs used was a manding sheet. So it was set up as the date, BT initials, session times, if she vocalized and if it was prompted, and notes for a section of approximations. And the type of approximations we were accepting were like help, het, or more for approximations. And at the beginning of baseline, she was not manding really at all. It was 0.01%. And then, which is not really a lot of manding. And then when the intervention started, we did not see any attempt of vocalization at all for the first 5 sessions of this intervention. We did see a spike right here the following week where we ran it for the 10th time, and that's where we start seeing more of her approximation of words whenever we prompted the specific desired So her approximations were like or or elp or moo for helping more, which we would accept and praise. And then eventually she started to go up and start not needing those verbal prompts. She was eventually doing them independently, just with us pointing to the words. And then when she got to 100%, she was able to independently vocalize her wants and needs. But we were still kind of using the textual prompts. We haven't faded them out yet. But she would point to the word and verbally say it, or sometimes pick up the word and hold it and verbally say it. So we would still honor it because she's verbally saying it, and she did it without prompting. She did have a spike down to 70% during one of her sessions, and that was due to because she had a new BT member join her team. And I just think this BT didn't have enough time to pair themselves as a reinforcer and build that rapport with this kiddo. And that's why we saw a spike down. But the spike down isn't too bad. It just went to 70%, which is still half of the time she was using her words and the other half she wasn't. So she was, well, not like half, like she was most still using her words. Sorry. And then she went back up to 100 the following day with the next BT. So we did find that I did find that this intervention was successful. It did help increase her vocal mandings, which is what we wanted, and it looks like it did its job. Some limitations that we encountered during this intervention was a lot of BTs called out, BT cancellation, client cancellation, and having that new BT join her team. Something I would do if I were to reconduct this intervention is probably make sure that the BTs have enough time to pair themselves as a reinforcer and to build that rapport with this kiddo before running the intervention, just because she did have a hard time when that new BT ran this intervention that one day. And then the following day, when she had a team member that's been on her team for a while run the intervention, she was able to go back to independent to 100%, which makes me think that the new BT just didn't have enough time to build that rapport or pair themselves as a reinforcer. But that was my project. Thank you.